What's up guys, I'm Brent from PrecisionLED.com, and here we have a 2017 Honda Civic we're going to be performing an LED interior light install on. Now the 2017 is the first year of the 10th generation, so this installation is compatible with all years 2017 plus. Today we're going to be installing LEDs on the front map, the rear dome, the trunk, and the reverse lights. Today we're going to be installing a PrecisionLED 5730 style premium LED kit, which come with these 3 interior trim tools you see us using throughout the video. We have our fork-shaped wedge tool, our pointed wedge tool, and our serrated knife tool. We're going to start by installing on the front map lights. We're going to be using the fork portion of our fork-shaped wedge tool in order to access the light. Now as you can see, we've already gone ahead and done the install on the passenger side, so we're going to show you how to install on the driver's side. So we're just going to take the fork portion of the tool, and we're first going to want to press the lens down so that the light comes on, and then we're going to insert the tool just on the side that's closer to the center of the vehicle. And once the tool is inside, you just want to pry outward until the clips come loose here. And then once everything's loosened up, you can just remove the lens with your bare hand. So now we're just going to reach in with our hand and remove the bulb. And so here we have our premium 5730 style LED, so we'll just pop that in. Now it's important to note that these LEDs, they're non-polarity specific, so you can pop them in any orientation and they should come on. So everything looks good. And so now we can just pop the lens back on. So we're first going to want to start by lining up the 2 top tabs here. And then once those are in place, just apply a little bit of pressure until they snap into place, and then just do the same thing on the bottom tabs as well. Now we're installing on the rear dome. We're going to be using the flat portion of our serrated knife tool in order to gain access to the halogen bulb here. So we're just going to want to come in with the flat portion and just wedge right here between the lens and the fixture towards the rear of the vehicle. So we're just going to come in, and once you have a little bit of separation, just pry outward until the clips come loose. And then once the clips are loose, you can just remove the rest of the lens with your hands. And so now we'll just reach in with our bare hands and remove the bulb. Again, just be careful because the bulb, if it was turned on previously, it can be hot. And so here we have our 5730 style LED. We'll just pop that in. And as you can see, everything's working perfectly fine. So now we'll just pop the lens back on. We're first going to start by lining up the 2 back tabs that are towards the rear of the vehicle. And then once those are in place, just apply a little bit of pressure on the front tabs until they snap into place. Now we'll be installing on the trunk light. We're going to be taking our pointed wedge tool, and we're just going to be coming in flat with the lens here towards the passenger side of the vehicle. And there's just one clip that's holding it into place, which is right here. So we're just going to pry inside until that clip comes loose, and then the rest of the lens should come out fairly easily. And now we have access to the halogen bulb. Now this bulb, it is pretty difficult to remove. So I'm just going to take the pointed wedge tool again, and I'm just going to be prying in between the bulb and the actual power connection here. And then you just want to pry outward until the halogen bulb comes out. And so here we have our LED, so we'll just pop that in. Again, these LEDs, they're non-polarity specific, so you can just pop them in any orientation. And now we can just put the fixture back inside of the trunk. We're first going to want to install the driver's side, and then once that is in place, we can just snap this clip right here, the passenger side clip. Now we're installing on the reverse lights. Now there are just a couple bolts right here, as well as a couple pegs back here that are holding this housing into place. So we're going to start by removing these bolts, and you can do so just with a Phillips screwdriver. And then once the bolts are removed, you just want to grasp the housing and then just pull outward. Now there are a couple pegs that are holding this housing into place just right over here, and you're just going to want to pull away from the vehicle in order to loosen up those pegs. Just for reference, the pegs that I was referring to are these ones just right here. And so now we have access to the light, which is this one right here, the gray switch. And so we're just going to grasp the power connector and twist this connector here counterclockwise and then just pull out. And now we can just remove the bulb with our hand. And so here we have our LED, so we'll just pop that in. Now before reassembling everything, we're just going to test the light to make sure everything's working. So everything looks good. And now we can just reinstall the bulb here back into the housing. You're just going to want to line up these two tabs. And once everything is lined up and seated flush, you can just twist this power connector here clockwise until it locks into place. And now we can just reinstall the housing. So we're first going to want to start by lining up these two pegs with the appropriate holes right here. And then once the pegs are lined up, we're just going to snap them into place just by applying a bit of pressure on this outside portion of the housing. And lastly, we can just re-screw in these bolts.
And that's the end of the installation. If you have any questions or concerns, please email us at help@precisionled.com, or you can reach us online and submit a support ticket at www.precisionled.com/contact. Now, like we said before, please like or subscribe if you enjoyed the video or enjoyed the process for what we do. It really does help us out when we make the next one, knowing that there's people out there watching the videos. Have a good one.